Are you someone who struggles building positive beliefs about yourself? What about if you've told yourself that you won't do something again only to fall into the same habits and routines that you were initially trying to avoid? And if you are someone that wants to build more discipline, build more confidence, and have a better perception about yourself, then this video is for you. Now, there's no doubt that words carry weight. Yes, it's easy to see this when you say something that can inspire someone or even hurt someone's feelings, but what about the way that you talk to yourself? Do the words that you tell yourself when you're trying to achieve a goal matter? Do the words that you tell yourself when you want to hold a new mindset matter? And another question I want to ask, do the words you tell yourself have any impact on your beliefs? I hope you've answered yes to all these questions, because in this video, I want to explain why the words you choose to tell yourself actually matter. The reason why the words matter is because our minds are meaning-making machines. They seek to tie information to other pieces of information for context, significance, stories, and explanations. And there are associations that are tied to every word, every object, and even more complicated abstract things like feelings and experience. For example, one of the first ways that this concept is introduced to you as a child is when you learn a new language. As an infant, you are learning all the associations between words, grammar, and sentences that, just help you make sense of what the hell your parents and others are even saying. You eventually realize, for example, that object over there is a cat, and you create a mental picture in your head of what a cat is, and you tie the word cat to it. You understand through the same process that the person who holds you and tucks you in at night is your mom. In essence, you create the association between these two things, and this has very lasting effects on not only how you navigate the world, but also how you interact with others. As an adult, there are more nuanced ways that this happens that kind of slips below our awareness. So to further illustrate this, every time you drive by the house that you grew up in, memories of your childhood will come flooding back into your mind. And some of these memories may be memories that you've forgotten or you haven't remembered in years. The same thing happens when you talk to your friends from high school. Almost automatically, you can just put yourself back in the classroom in high school. And these are experiences that you may have never even remembered since high school. And this is the power of association. To see how this translates to our own words, though, it's important to note that we can't always consciously think about the words that we say. Sometimes we just spit words out without much thought, at least conscious thought. But for your sentences and words to make sense, your unconscious mind has to understand the meaning of each word and put them in a logical sequence that makes grammatical sense. Even if you're not consciously thinking about every single word that you say, you can bet that your unconscious mind is still making the associations and strengthening the connections between the words that you say. When you say something like, I'm going to stop overeating, or I'm going to stop smoking, the words overeating and smoking have the most vivid and strongest associations. Oftentimes we tell ourselves that we want to stop something because it's not good for us or it doesn't make us feel good. And the negative experience of overeating or smoking is really what has created this mental image or this association for the words stop overeating or stop smoking. This is why when you've already overeaten or you've already begun smoking, you suddenly remember that you've made a promise to yourself that you want to stop, and by that point it's too late. Another example of this is when someone says, I am a failure, I can't do anything. And typically these statements are made in reaction to some event or outcome that they've internalized and interpreted in this way. And when you make these kind of connections, your mind will always recall these statements when you find yourself in a similar situation. When you end up getting an undesirable outcome or you fall short of your expectations, someone who has made this association with failure will continue to tell themselves that they are a failure or that they can't do anything. And as you can see, not only the way that you talk to yourself, but even the words that you use has a big effect not only on your results, but also on the way that you interpret those experiences. And using these same examples, how can you actually reframe these experiences to actually create associations that will serve you and help you grow. In the case of overeating, instead of saying, I will stop overeating, which has a strong word overeating, use a different sentence altogether. Say something along the lines of, I'm only going to eat a reasonable amount that only satisfies me. Do you see how this paints a different picture? Everyone understands how you feel when you're not full but you're satisfied. And if you repeat this statement every day, I can promise you, you will get this unconscious reminder once you feel satisfied with your meal to stop. In the case of smoking, instead of saying, I will stop smoking, tell yourself, I want to breathe clean air. This avoids the word smoking entirely and can even prevent you from triggering cues or urges to smoke. And it paints an entirely different picture in your head when you think about it. For the person who wants to stop feeling like a failure, it's important to tell yourself, in the face of hard circumstances, I will stop and try again later with a new approach. You want to stop associating failure with the lack of worth or ability. It's absolutely important to change the association with failure and yourself to actually begin growing. Now, many people go all throughout life not even understanding the power of words. And if you're looking to improve or grow, the way that you talk to yourself has a huge impact, not only on your results, but the way that you interpret those results. And being mindful of this can really take your development to the next level so that you can have a better mindset that is more aligned with your goals. Now, I can't cover every single example for this exercise of reframing and associations, but if you are curious about how one would look, how one of these associations would look like for something that you're personally struggling with, please leave a comment below or DM me. I am more than happy to help. With that, I'm turning off this video and I wish you guys a great rest of your weekend. Thank you.